feel like this sets the tone
Yeah.
for a really serious, awesome podcast.
A really serious 12 minutes here.
Oh, yeah. What's going on, everybody? Patrick Ali, Senior Loan Officer here at Hall Financial, and it is official as of today. I have hijacked the podcast once again. So normally David Hall is on with us, our fearless leader. He has a couple of things that he has to get to, so I'm pretty pumped to run the show. Here today, joined by one of our loan officers here at Hall Financial, Delanie Boon. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great.
Booney. And then actually, I'm pretty excited about this. And self-admittedly, in an email, I called him Brian. It's not Brian, everyone. It's Brett Maciag from Coldwell Banker on the Hill, right?
Yeah,
is that what we're calling it?
Definitely.
We're agreed on that now.
Yeah.
Out of
on
Grosse
the Hill
Point.
in Grosse Point.
In Grosse Point. How
That's
you
right,
doing
right.
today, bud?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
That's awesome. We're happy to have you. We got a pretty decent show. Actually, the first time in a long time that we had a conversation. Got a good game plan together of what we want to talk about. I think there's some important stuff out there that the consumer needs to know and that other professionals need to know. So let's hop into it. So tell me a little bit about you, your business, how you got started in real estate.
Well, I just started not too long ago. Previously, I was working in marketing, advertising, building websites and that sort of thing, and being cooped up in my apartment all day just wasn't doing it for me.
Yeah.
So, I figured I'd take I cleared my plate of everything, took a couple months off to really, do some soul searching, I guess, and find out what it is I wanted to do. Growing up, my dad was a contractor, home builder, so I knew I had those connections.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the sales aspect of what I was doing, so I said, well, take the class, 40 hours, pass the test, and let's get this real estate license.
That's awesome. We have a lot of contractors and builders that we work with kind of hands-on, so it's nice to see what you can learn and take from that that aspect of the business. Because I feel like mortgages and real estate and contracting, even insurance, I feel like we're all, we're separate entities and separate things that we do.
It's a big web.
Right. But at the same time, it's all for the same. So what are some things that, you took away from, growing up in that type of industry or growing up, knowing those types of things that you kind of push into your business now?
Well, number one is hard work and dedication.
Yeah.
And satisfying your clients, or working with my dad, it was the homeowners or the people that were paying you to build the house. So that's probably the overall thing you learn. You gotta do what your clients want you to do. You gotta make them happy, and that's how we become successful in this business.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that like I said, just tying in all of our industries collectively, I think it just marries really well. Like I did insurance prior to this. Delanie, you had some, on-site sales.
Was door knocking.
You
ever consider real estate?
Yeah, for real. And it's great, the things that you can take away. And I think if you just have a general work ethic, you don't have to be like
in any profession.
Right. You don't have to be the best, but if you're willing to outwork your competitor, it's 100%.
Well, especially in the in real estate, and in the Grosse Point market, it's very competitive. And me being, a new guy to the neighborhood, growing up in Trenton and living downtown, and now coming into Grosse Point, I got to be very active, present. Open houses, broker opens. I try to go to a lot of networking events, make sure I'm at the Grosse Point Board of Realtor events. Yeah. Just presence and being seen. Yep.
Yeah, and what do you see? Because that's one thing that we kind of talked about a little bit before the show is, I look at the Grosse Point market as like a different animal. There's different types of homes out there, a lot different as far as price points than you're going to find in like an East Point or Roseville, Clinton Township, kind of where my area is. What do you see that you have to do different there, or are you doing anything different in the Grosse Point area versus,
you got to be aggressive.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows a realtor. Everybody knows 8 realtors, I think is what the statistic is. So especially in the Grosse Point market, these tight-knit communities, you're not the only one that these people know. You could be a neighbor with somebody, and they know 4 other, and there's another one on the other side of the street. Yeah. So it's a competitive market, but it's an eclectic. Okay, so there's a few first-time home buyer markets in Grosse Point. You get the low 2s, high 2s, maybe into the 3s that people can afford, and those tend to go quick. Within a week. Yeah. The majority of the homes are $400,000 to $600,000, and those maybe sit up to a month, and then you get all the way up into your high-end luxury homes that tend sit around for a while and they just wait for the right home buyer to come come along.
Right. And Delanie, I mean, you work quite a bit, I think, in the Grosse Pointe area. Know a lot of people in the Grosse Pointe area. What do you see as far as our industry that kind of is different than you see in any other market?
Well, it's one of those markets that it seems, I think I'm a little lucky because I grew up in that area, and I think in a way you have to
half
kind
of
of
it.
Yeah. You kind of have to have like an end. You know what I mean? You have to have kind of like have an end to get into that Grosse Pointe market. And I have closed in many loans there in Grosse Pointe, and especially purchase and a few refis, of course. But I mean it's one of those markets that you just kind of got to already know people within Grosse Pointe, and then that will kind of help you get in there. And of course, being on the Grosse Pointe Board of Realtors, which I am also helps, a member of that. Yeah. And just talking with everybody. I think a big thing in Grosse Pointe too is service. Yeah. They're really big on service. Yep.
Yeah. I feel like people are just, and I think it's with any industry across the board, people are willing to pay more for a better quality of service than they are willing to pay less for that. You know what I mean? It's so
experience,
and it's not to single out Grosse Pointe. You know what I mean? Because it's just you do work, primarily there. It's any luxury real estate market. I feel like is the same. It's you got to know people, and people have to know you, and you have to have a different type of way that you go about your business to tailor it to people that are buying, because not everybody's buying a $400,000 house.
Right.
Long-term relationships is, what I'm building now for the Grosse Pointe market. I've done a lot of business in Grosse-Ile, Trenton, out in Farmington, even over in Harper Woods, East Point. So I'm not just Grosse Pointe, but, since I went to school and got a lot of buddies in Detroit. We're working in that market too, and I grew up downriver, so I got a lot of business going on down there as well.
Yeah.
In fact, we just had a closing in Fenton not too long. Wasn't that house in Fenton?
Oh, Wyandotte.
Wyandotte.
We had the Wyandotte.
Wyandotte.
Wyandotte. Nice. And so this is
actually a nice home, another first-time home buyer, which we'll get to today.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And then, one thing that I noticed too, and this is just on my drive-in, so for anybody out there that's driving anywhere, you probably see this too. I'm seeing a lot more signs in the yards, even though I've noticed that buying is slowing down. So, what's your take on that? I mean,
well, those signs are in the yard because buying is
slowing down. Yeah, but I mean, we came off a really hot, we came off a really hot summer market. So, for your business and what you're seeing out there in real estate, give us kind of your perspective on what's happening.
Well, everybody knows it's and it's really resonated through every facet of the business. Yeah. Seller's market. People on Zillow, they know, it's a seller's market. Realtor, it's a seller's market. You see it on commercials. And so what it's really meant is that there's higher price. It's driving price up. There's more competition. There's more demand. And now these first-time home buyers are like, well, shoot, how am I supposed to compete with this, right? Because they don't have all the savings saved up. They've got car loans. They've got student loans. They've got their credit card bill. And now they're trying to buy a house. Yeah. So, with building costs going up as well, it's hard for them to get in that door and purchase the home.
Yeah, and that's actually kind of ties us right into what we were talking about a little bit before the show. You have the serious buyer and the not so serious buyer, and you had a great story that you had a phone call the other day. So kind of tell us about that, and same with you, Delanie, of what you see out there as far as those. Well,
people. we do these Zillow. Premier agent, and you get calls on people who are scrolling the site and they see a house they like, they want to talk with an agent. So we get a call and we answer it and we kind of talk them through the process. And one of the first things I always ask them is, have you spoken with a lender? Are you pre-approved? Because that really lets me know if they're serious or not. If they want to speak with a lender, they might be a hot buyer, and I'm going to give them utmost attention I can. 100%. If they're like, well, I don't want to talk with a lender just yet. I've got some things I got to figure out. Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm buying until next year. Now I'm kind of putting them, I'll throw them in a drip campaign with all my marketing and stuff like that, emails, yada, yada, yada. Keep in touch at fingers, distance. I'll go show them a few homes, just because I want to start building that relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I can't spend too much time just driving, East Point, Harper Woods, Detroit, just to just for somebody who's twiddling their thumbs right now trying to figure out what it is they want.
Yeah. So what would you say? I mean, for people that you get on the phone and they're like, you know what, I want to buy, haven't spoken to the lender. Let's say, you know, I have something going on in my credit now, but we're fixing it. We're building and we
want to buy soon.
Bank account. Yeah. What
is called
that?
Delanie Boon.
Called Delanie Boon. I like that. That's good. That's
really good because Delanie's going to be able to tell them what they need to do to get where they need to be. If they want to buy a house that's this much, he's going to say, all right, this is where you're going to be in savings. This is going to be your interest rate, and it really helps the buyer.
Yeah.
And it helps the buyer. That helps me. And the process is smooth.
Yeah, and I know. I mean, for you probably talk about the same thing. Is when you get somebody on the phone, I think majority of people that come to us, they're
looking for HARP.
Are looking for HARP, yeah, or the Obama plan that's saving everybody. No, they're not necessarily a serious buyer at first. And I think that's one thing that we do a good job, and especially you do a great job at having that conversation and building that relationship over the course of, the 20 minutes you're on the phone with them, talking about what there's possibilities out there.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, when I'm on the phone with a client, I'm pre-qualifying and making sure, checking credit, looking at income, assets, things like that. When it comes to the pre-approval, if the credit isn't maybe so great, then, I'll advise them, you should work on paying this off, you should work on paying that, so we can get them to that point so they can go buy a house.
Yeah, and I think common misconception out there is that, you just do real estate and we just do mortgages, but people don't understand that, if there's issues or there's situations going on, whether it's your credit, your income, assets, those are all things that we can work on. We had a client, the other day that I was working with, and, they were like $3,000 short as far as assets, and they were like, well, we're save up the $3,000. I said, man, you make, $8,000 a month. Your next paycheck, put away that money, or, in our under 30-day process, we'll slowly get that, to the point that we can, get your assets. So I think that you kind of get put in a bucket sometimes of like, you just do one thing. People don't understand how many resources that we have at our disposal, and in real estate, how many resources you have to help.
Well, yeah, and I mean, the number one question, I get from, because I'm a younger guy and I got younger friends, and they're the first-time home buyers I'm working with, and they say, well, can I afford a house? They say, well, 20% on a house is a lot for me. And I said, well, you don't have to put 20% down. Yeah. You can get in a house at 3.5% down and be just fine.
Yeah.
So a lot of times that's, you got $5,000 in your pocket, you add some closing costs on top, you can buy a house, and people don't realize that.
David tells us all the time, $5,000 will put you in a home.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's very, very true. Well, listen, guys, that's 13 minutes.
Wow.
I told you it goes quick.
That's quick.
I told you it goes really quick.
It was amazing.
It was
absolutely amazing.
This might be, and I've said this before, but this might be one of our best.
Yeah,
I think
I'm just
so.
going to throw that out there. So to anybody out there listening, whether you're in the business, you're not in the business, you're looking to learn, maybe looking to get into the business, Brett, give us your contact info. How do we get in touch with you to talk more about real estate?
Sure. You can find me on just about any social network, Brett Maciag. That's Brett with 2 T's, second one silent. Maciag is Maciag. My number is 734-778-9619. You can search the hashtag sold by Brett. And I just want to say one more thing to the first-time home buyers. Let you know, stay confident, keep your head up, because you look out at Kentwood near Grand Rapids. That's the hottest market in the U.S., and that's being drove by millennial sales.
Yeah.
So there's hope.
Awesome, Brett. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, guys.
Us. Yeah, Delanie,
thanks, Brett.
You guys got something to go.
We got a broker open.
We got a broker.
You guys got important stuff to do. We got to get you out of here.
1352 Bishop.
Yep. Come by and have lunch.
And then not to mention our new marketing assistant, Jess. Thanks for hanging out with us, and welcome to the team.
No problem, guys.
Thanks, Jess.
All right, so for everybody out there, I'm Patrick Ali over at Hall Financial.
The best in the podcast world.
Hey, I don't tell David that. Ooh. And then obviously with my absent host as well, David Hall. We bring you live on real estate, the best darn 14 minutes in real estate podcast history in the world. You guys have a great day.
It's a wrap.